illness. They're trained to treat the patient with an acute heart attack, diabetic ketoacidosis, a recent stroke, certainly trauma and surgical issues. They're not really trained at all in the prevention of these diseases. Nothing is addressed on that level in medical education. So the solution, surprisingly, you might have guessed by now, is mind-body medicine, which is promoting health and giving the responsibility back to the patient so he or she can make lifestyle changes and mind-style changes to reverse the disease. We're all ready to do this work because we all live in a body that is unfathomably complex. The wisdom of the human body is beyond any scientist understanding. Rumi, the poet, the body is a mirror of heaven. Its energies make angels jealous. It's truly one of these statements based on the great wisdom as above, so below. You can look into the world within the human body is likened unto a complex universe. On the molecular level, it's very amazing. Hippocrates said the natural healing force within each one of us is the greatest force in getting well. Basically, you live in a healing machine, a very powerful healing machine. It's not designed for the 21st century. This is one of my favorite books. You live in a body as magnificent and wondrous as the universe you gaze into on a clear starry night. In fact, the body you take for granted has its own near boundless universe within it, comprised of approximately 100 trillion cells. Within each cell, millions of biochemical reactions take place every moment to orchestrate the experience you call life. The unfathomable complexity and wonder of the human system sparks the imagination of scientists, poets, and mystics alike as they contemplate the genius that organizes and directs it all. It has been termed the wisdom of the body. An example of that is this white blood cell. You have billions of these patrolling the recesses of your body. This is a macrophage, this is a red blood cell, and these are two bacteria. The white blood cell is exploring. Who controls the wisdom of your body? This healing machine, you do, by the foods you eat, how much you move your body. I was reading, there's a new article by in some journal called describing the new affliction in modern society called sitting disease. I think it's second only to thinking disease as a primary cause of health problems. They've actually determined how much time you sit and how it increases your risk for heart disease. Toxins, we live in a world that's toxic on the outside, it's toxic on the inside as well. And then the most powerful thing, which is going to be our focus tonight, is how consciousness governs the wisdom of the body. Mind-body medicine is dependent upon optimal nutrition, physical fitness, understanding the conscious and unconscious mind, and having some understanding of the chemical and heavy metal toxins that exist in our bodies, 100% of us. You can't go into a new office building without breathing in chemicals. So, consciousness creates reality. Is everybody okay with that term? This group, I think, is okay with that term. This room that we are standing in at this moment is created collectively by our minds. It is not truly out there. It is actually in here. We have an ego that binds together belief systems that allow us to create a third-dimensional reality in which we can create joyful experiences, or, for most of us, quite consistently, create learning experiences. That is a phenomenal ability. Consciousness is the computer programming that creates third-dimensional reality. I believe that consciousness in its primal form is the organizing intelligence that we call God, truth. All religions talk about the sea of energy or sea of consciousness that is organized by creative intelligence, the same intelligence that allows a flower bud to unfold. We have two little sparrows that are built a nest in the space outside of our window in the dining room next to the screen. There's a little opening to keep the golf balls from hitting our window. We live next to a golf course. And these two little sparrows, this little tiny bird, she flies in there, and a few days later there's these 4 little eggs. You know? And then over the next 3 to 4 days there's these 4 little mouths. You look out there and you tap on the window and there's this big and she's busy. The governing influence there is the same one that we operate on. It organizes all elements of our reality. Your thoughts, beliefs, and attitudes, the ones you have individually from your childhood and the collective ones you have that you got from society, are what create and organize the experience that you have in your reality. This message is the same message that quantum physicists have been telling us now for the past 30 to 40 years, starting with Einstein. Energy and matter are converted one to the other. Quantum particles can be light, can be a wave, or it can be a particle, depending on what your preference is. Basically, there is no such thing as scientific objectivity. The very basis upon which we talk about science is not a truthful statement, because the scientist is creating that reality as he does his research. So he can't be objective by definition. Heisenberg talked about probabilities, the principle of uncertainty. On the quantum level, you can never pin anything down. It's a possibility or a probability. And then John Bell, with holographic theories, said that regardless of the distance between two events in the universe, they are connected instantaneously. Candace Pert, who did a lot of work with neurotransmitters, has said the mind doesn't dominate the body. In my introduction, I talked about the mind governing the body. What she's saying is that the body and the mind are one. Consciousness creates the human body just as it creates all of third-dimensional reality. So what are these creative forces? There are two, basically. One is thought and the other is emotion. Thought creates everything in your reality, from what you decide to wear during the day, what you're going to do tomorrow, what you're going to study, what you're going to eat. That thought is aggregated into aggregates called beliefs, attitudes, opinions. This is an extremely powerful force. Thought will manifest instantaneously if we did not have so much conflicting thought. Because we create a thought and then often we doubt whether or not it's possible. Emotion is the fire of consciousness in that it will energize a thought. Power of thought is well known. It's based on